Hello, this is Coding Gicha for full-stack developers. This time I'll explain vim-airline, which provides a visual status display for Vim and the related Vim settings. I'll run vim-es to check the list of Vim packages. I already installed vim-airline in the previous video. I'll use packages that provide additional information to the status line displayed by vim-airline, so vim-airline must be loaded first. Native packages are loaded by directory name, so to load vim-airline first, add a number to the front of the list to move it up in the sort order. If it's not installed, you can easily install it with vim-e. Open the .vim-rc file in Vim. Vim-airline is a package that provides a visual status line at the bottom of the Vim. The scroll status is also displayed, which is enabled by installing vim-scrollstatus. Vim-scrollstatus can also be easily installed with vim-e. To show what it looks like when only vim-airline is just installed, I'll comment out the settings related to vim-airline and vim-scrollstatus. Let's exit Vim to apply the settings. I'll explain vim-airline while creating a new shell script file. This is what vim-airline looks like after installing it and without any configuration. The icons displayed in vim-airline are thanks to vim-devicons, but I'll take that into account. Vim-airline also provides a feature that displays text in different colors depending on the operating mode. In normal mode, it's displayed in yellow, but when switching to insert mode, it's displayed in blue. Note that when switching to command mode, it's displayed in green. When a file is modified, a plus sign appears next to the file name and the file name section turns magenta. By default, vim-airline displays an additional section if there's unnecessary trailing white space or mixed indent patterns. To illustrate the white space notification feature provided by vim-airline, let's first write a simple shell script. Let's add an unnecessary tab to the end of a line. This will notify us that line 4 contains trailing white space. Now, let's add a space to line 5. The line with trailing white space has been changed to 5. It also notifies us when indent patterns are used inconsistently. It indicates that line 4 is indented with tabs, while line 6 is indented with spaces. This is very useful information, and I personally believe indent patterns in white space are important. However, even in the default configuration files, there are white space syntax that requires modification. For example, even the default configuration file for the Linux Bash shell contains a mix of tabs and spaces in its indent pattern. When working with various configuration files in Vim, I often encounter mixed indent patterns or trailing white space. This is incredibly annoying and it reduces the amount of information displayed in the status line. Unfortunately, I'm going to disable this feature. If the status line of vim-airline feels a bit humdrum, you can make it more splendid by enabling powerline fonts. I'll quit Vim and restart it. I was bothered by the mixed indent pattern and trailing white space notifications, but now that information overload has disappeared, I can focus more on my work. Powerline has made vim-airline's humdrum UI more splendid. The vibrant colors of vim-airline, combined with the splendid of powerline, tend to draw more attention to vim-airline than to my workspace. If you've installed vim-airline-themes, you can apply various themes. Vim-airline-themes can be easily installed with vim-e. I'll use the minimalist theme. The minimalist theme will replace the vibrant colors of vim-airline with a monochromatic, calming palette. I'll delete the shell script file I wrote to explain the mixed indent pattern and trailing white space. Open the .vim-rc file in Vim. The status line of vim-airline has become more calm and clean. The minimalist theme maintains consistent colors even when switching modes. If you're already familiar with Vim, like me, you can focus on your work without distractions. Ironically, if you have installed a package for Vim and are using it, you are already familiar with Vim. Actually, I don't find power line separators all that appealing. I prefer a clean interface over meaningless, gimmicky patterns. If you're working with languages that use characters larger than 2 bytes, the excessive line height increases, making the power line separator look even more unsightly. The status line of vim-airline displays the scroll position as a percentage on the right side, but it's not intuitive. Vim-scrollstatus provides a function that visually displays the scroll position in the status line of vim-airline. Let's configure it in the X section as per the guide. The sections of vim-airline are composed of A, B, C for the 3 on the left and X, Y, Z for the 3 on the right. The X section displays the file type. If you have vim-devicons installed, it will also be displayed as an icon, so I will only set vim-scrollstatus. Let's exit Vim. Let's restart Vim. Although it feels a bit clunky, the scroll position is now more visually indicated in the status line of vim-airline. Since the Z section of vim-airline displays the current position, I'll move the vim-scrollstatus display to the Z section. The X section displays the file type, and since icons are displayed thanks to vim-devicons, it's a good idea to leave it blank to save space. The default display of the Z section is the percentage ratio of location, number of lines, and column position. I'll remove percentage ratio of location and replace it with vim-scrollstatus. Vim-airline displays lines and columns as symbols, but their actual meanings are the mathematical logarithm and the abbreviation for char, respectively, which feels a bit forced. I'll change the abbreviations to the cursive letters lane and col, respectively. The column value is set to %v, which represents a vertical line and also displays blank lines as 1. However, to easily identify blank lines as empty, let's change it to %c. Blank lines without any spaces are displayed as 0, making it easier to identify unnecessary whitespace. Let's set vim-scrollstatus's horizontal scrollbar to be sharp. Let's restart Vim. Let's scroll the screen. The clunky horizontal scrollbar has been significantly sharpened. Vim-airline supports tab line at the top in addition to the status line at the bottom. Enabling tab line, one of the extensions provided by vim-airline, allows you to view the buffer list in tabbed form, similar to Vim Buffet. However, tab line and vim-airline are cumbersome and offer no useful functionality beyond simply displaying the buffer list in tabbed form. Therefore, I prefer to disable them and use Vim Buffet instead. Vim Buffet is covered in detail in a separate video. Thank you for watching.